Today's episode is for every woman who's ready to level up without the hustle. And that's why we're here diving into all things dames with Ellen Frazier.
This is Charleston Women Podcast, where you can meet like-minded, strong, independent, professional, and inspiring local women. This is Charleston Women Podcast.
Hello, this is Kim Russo, your host of the Charleston Women Podcast. Today, we welcome Ellen Frazier, the owner of Frazier Lending Group and the Dames Charleston Chapter president. The Dames is the only global business accelerator for 6, 7, and 8-figure women who are done with the hustle culture and ready to scale radically through collaborative relationships, strategic joy, and unapologetic growth inside and out. Ellen, welcome to the Charleston Women Podcast.
Thank you so much for having me, Kim. I'm really excited to be here and to share with you about the Dames and how much it's impacted my career.
I'm so excited to have you here too. So I'm your vice president of the Charleston local chapter for the Dames, and it's impacted my life greatly personally and business-wise, but I want to hear from you how it's impacted you to become a Dame.
I do feel like that the Dames have impacted me both professionally and definitely personally. I don't know if I would have ever started Frazier Lending Group if I hadn't been a Dame. I needed to find that courage within myself to take a leap, and the Dames gave me that.
Yeah. And what about personally, has it affected you at all?
From a support standpoint, I feel like the Dames have been my best friends that have carried me through in business and in personal. So, life is life, right? And we have these different seasons that we go through. And if it wasn't for the friendships that I had with the Dames, I think that some of those seasons would have been a really dark and stormy one.
Yeah. And I can say the same thing. So when I first became a Dame, I had been in business for 2 years, but I didn't really realize that it was more like a freelance than a business. Yes, I was making the 6 figures, but that was volume. I didn't even have a Google Calendar. But then when I got into this room with these women who were already there, had been there, and taught me all of the things that I need to know about actually running a productive business, it changed the trajectory of my life. So now I can't live without my calendar, but I was able to create a course to teach other creatives. I'm able to service and help so many women and also have way more confidence. So that was a big thing that impacted me in joining the Dames, was having this room of women that became such close friends and cheerleaders that have seen this evolution and now are like my best friends. So, I personally, it's been huge. Self-development wise, I never even read a self-development book before I became a Dame, and those things have helped me dramatically. So
I would definitely agree with that. I think that from a self-development standpoint and also just a business growth standpoint, I feel like I had a lot of great tools going into it from a business standpoint, but actually taking that next step into business owner, that's a completely different hat that you're wearing, right? And so when we have that hat on, we need to be equipped with the tools to carry that through to success. And those were tools that personally I was not really well equipped with until I met the Dames, and I collaborated with several different business coaches within the Dames that helped me build a business of significance and also allowed me to follow my dreams in a couple of other ways too.
Yeah, I always go to the Dames first for help before anywhere else. So, and then speaking of that, networking has been something that I never really did before in my past life. When I was working corporate, I didn't have to do that. And I moved here right as COVID was about to happen. And so everybody was kind of in their bubble for a while. And then I had to get out and start networking. So I was like, what's next in my business? And I remember going into some places and just not feeling a connection or feeling like I'm just almost introverted for somebody that I could say now I'm more of an extrovert than an introvert, but going into these rooms and just kind of hiding in the corner. What is the difference with being in a room of 6, 7, 8-figure women that is different than all these other networking groups out there?
Well, the conversation is different first and foremost. I mean, the conversation is completely different. Like the conversations that we have at a dinner table full of Dames is different than conversations that we have with our friends that maybe work corporate versus entrepreneurs, right? The conversation's different. And you and I have talked about that plenty. Besides that, though, we're not being stabbed with business cards, right? We're not there on display. We don't walk into a Dames event wearing a mask. And I feel like when I show up at other networking events, I have to suit up and put on this armor and show up as a walking billboard of my business. Whereas at the Dames, we really focus on organic conversations and real genuine connection. And that genuine connection is the difference, right? We're building relationships. We're not trying to sell ourselves to everyone as soon as we walk into the room. And there's a confidence that comes with that. When you know you can walk into a space with all of these women that are super successful and you don't have to put on a mask. You don't have to show up and be someone that you're not. You can show up exactly as you are, exactly where you are in your business, and you can be vulnerable because you're not going to be judged. You're going to be welcomed, and you're also going to probably be connected with somebody that can help you grow to the next level for yourself.
100%.
And that's where our collaboration comes in, right?
Yeah.
That's where the business incubator comes in. That's where the power partnerships come in and the strategic matchmaking.
Yeah, so let's talk a little bit about the partnerships, because one of Dames's big key elements is power partnerships and strategically matching you. And, you know, I've been partnering myself with people too throughout the years, because it's really about building that relationship and getting to know somebody. So you would think someone like me, who is a branding and web expert, would feel threatened or not want to collaborate with somebody who's also a branding and web expert. But some of my biggest power partners are in that field and working on right now a collaborative partnership called Brandcation with a Denver dame who is also a branding expert and web designer. And you would never think that in the normal world that would be okay, but it's all about being a power partner in collaboration. Yeah. So what have been some of your biggest power partners?
So I will say that you taught me a lot about power partnerships when you first joined. And I think a lot of that came from you really dove in and made those connections. For myself, I chose a different route. I actually did my I've completed my Power Partner workbook 3 times. The first time I completed it, I wanted to be connected with dames outside of the state of South Carolina. And I realized very quickly that that's great from a mentor perspective, but it's not really great from a collaborative perspective locally, especially if I'm licensed in South Carolina. So I changed my Power Partner workbook, and I really wanted to lean into those relationships more locally. And that's where the synergy happens, right? Now, I'm still connected with dames all across the globe because we are a global organization, but the connections that I've made locally, those are definitely some of my deepest friendships and partnerships.
Yeah. Well, how cool is it that we are international? I just went to Dallas a couple of months ago for an event there. We go to Denver every year. Zoom is an awesome way to be able to connect with these people. One of my power partners, we just connect on Voxer every Friday, just check in. What are your wins for the week? So it can look different in every different, whatever you want to make of it, really.
I love that. I love that you guys do that weekly, that you have like an accountability partner that checks in. Yeah. And I'll tell you something else that I really, really enjoy. Every time we get on a Zoom, especially with Megan, Megan's the founder, every time we get on a Zoom with her, she wants to hear our win or she wants to hear what magic is happening in our life that is really lighting us up at the moment. And I love that. We should start every conversation with what lights you up, right?
It raises the vibration and the energy in the room.
It raises the bar of the conversation.
So our local dames were featured in this winter's issue, the home edition of 2025-2026 Charleston Women magazine. How did that come to be, and what was the story about behind us all getting in there? And I'm going to show, if you're watching, we are here in page 42.
Let me just say, first and foremost, we've had a long-standing relationship with Charleston Women magazine and Mount Pleasant magazine, so it was just kind of a natural fit. Also, we are Charleston women, right? We are what successful Charleston women look like. We should absolutely be represented in the Charleston Women magazine.
Yeah, it was so fun. And the picture is so awesome. And, all of us are considered friends, collaborators. So it was a really fun experience.
I think that I would love to do this again and have all of us in there. Unfortunately, we couldn't fit everybody in there just because of timing and everything else. But it was so much fun. And the thing that makes it so much fun is that the photographers, Charleston Women magazine has amazing photographers, and they make the shoot so much fun. So I knew we were going to have an amazing picture. I would just like to blow it up and put it on a billboard.
Oh, we should do that. Today's episode is recorded at Shine Studio, Charleston's modern natural light creative studio rental. Designed for podcasters, photographers, content creators, and business owners. Shine Studio offers flexible hourly and daily rentals, seasonal installations, and fully equipped podcast room like this one to support your vision. If you're local to Charleston, check out Shine Studio on King Street and see why creators love working here. And as a special thank you to our Charleston Women listeners, you can use code Charleston Women for $10 off your next studio booking. Learn more and to book your session at the Shine Studio /studio rental or on Instagram at shinestudio.chs.
You're listening to the Charleston Women Podcast.
One of the things that I love about being a Charleston Dame, although there's virtual and you can be a Dame anywhere in the country, in the world, I love having our local chapter and having our monthly events. So can you tell people about some of the events we've had? What are some events that are coming up that are really fun? What can they look for when they come to an event?
Oh, I love this. Okay, so our events are really to highlight our Dame membership, right? We want to allow every member to shine and to shine brightly. And so we help them do that, right? What we're doing is we're bringing the community to their business, or we could, maybe an offsite, but we're bringing the community, the Dames community, to their business so that they can shine. And then usually they have an educational component to the meeting where they're presenting about their business and they're educating us on what makes them so amazing. And then besides that, we always have a connection exercise, which is so much fun because we try to keep it really interesting. And then there's room for networking. Mm-hmm. So when you come to a Dames meeting, we're not standing around for 2 hours stabbing each other with business cards. What you're going to experience is something of value. We're going to give you an educational component. We're going to give you a connection exercise, which is going to allow you to meet people and to also connect in a way that is beyond the surface level of, hey, who are you? What do you do for a living? That's the last thing we want to hear, right? Yeah. And so we connect in a completely different way. And then we have an opportunity to celebrate that. So we have a monthly membership meeting. Usually they're called our happier hours, but the one that we have coming up in December, which I'm so excited about, it's actually called our holiday soiree. And Kim and Amanda, they're doing a great job. We're doing a little paint and sip. We've got some crafts that we're going to be doing. It's just going to be so much fun. So we have a theme every single month, and it's really focused on the Dame that's going to be sponsoring that event for that month. And so we give them carte blanche kind of, on how to curate the event. But I also want to point out that word curate, because they are curated events. And so we try to keep it fun. We try to keep it entertaining, but we also keep it something of value with the education component and definitely the connection exercise. And then once a year, we have our extravaganza, which is where we bring in everyone. It's not just focused on members. We want to bring in the public. We want to share with you what the Dames have been up to all year. That's a little bit different of a scenario. We've got a lot of people at that event. We usually have a comedian. We're usually have a pretty cool venue for that event. So I'm really looking forward to our extravaganza in April. I've already started planning, if you can believe it.
Yeah, you'll have to follow the names to find out when the exact date it is going to be in April. But one of the things about the events too is we do allow non-members to come to check it out. So you can come to a couple events to see if it is the right room for you. But every time somebody comes, I think honestly the educational value and the connection exercises is what keeps them coming back or wanting to join. Because what I hear a lot of times when people come, we do these connection exercises, they're not expecting it. And, a lot of times as being an entrepreneur, we're mostly working at home by ourselves. Or, we have a lot of moms in our group too that, this is a separation from work, mom, life, everything. And to be able to just be vulnerable and be able to share things that you don't normally do when you're going to a normal networking event.
Right.
It just really helps people to connect. And I say the difference between, for me, is when we have people at these events, you get to know them instantly because there's something that you can connect to with everybody in the room.
You're just getting to know them on a deeper level, which is so different than any networking group that I've ever been to. And then another thing I wanted to mention is that, when we have our monthly meetings, that is our public facing event. So the rest of our meetings that we offer online are actually not for non-members.
Right.
So your membership is not just a monthly meeting.
Right.
Your membership is weekly calls. In addition to those calls, we also offer the monthly membership meeting, which is our only public-facing event. I like to just express that because I feel like a lot of people
so much more.
get confused. They're like, oh, so you just do it once a month. No,
it's so
there's
much more.
so much more. This is just the only event that the public gets to see if they're not a member.
Well, that's how we get connected to everybody globally, is through these virtual calls. So every level, 6, 7, 8 figure, has their own mastermind group, so that you're masterminding once a month with somebody who is at your level, having the same type of business goals or business hiccups. And so everybody's there to support each other. There's also connect hours that you also come across people that you would never have met in a normal real world life. And some of them become my friends, and some of them have also become amazing clients just from having a 5-minute conversation with them in a breakout Zoom room. There's also so much training. So everybody that becomes a Dame can also do this too, as a way to get more visibility. But you get to share what you do, called next level skill training, and be able to learn from somebody. So you get to get all this education as part of your membership. Plus, there's also pods that members have gone and created outside on their own. So I have one that's called the Branding and Marketing Pod that I do with another Dame that lives in Dallas, who's the chapter president over there. So again, it's just ways to help get support on different areas. So I know you're
I'm in the real estate pod. And so that's actually really helpful because it's really not a lot of people locally in that pod. So I get to hear about what's happening in the market in different areas, which is actually really helpful for my business. So I can kind of gauge. I mean, Charleston's like this beautiful protected bubble for real estate. And so to hear what kind of shifts are happening in other parts of the country is really cool too. So the pods, and then there was something else that I wanted to mention, the next level skills training. If education is your jam and you like to teach, guess what? You can also teach a next level skills training. So we are all about reciprocity. I want to make sure I said that word without messing that up. We're all about reciprocity. And so what that means is bring your zone of genius to the Dames, share with us, educate us, and then let us also share that back with you. So that's really what makes it so special.
Something that's really cool when you start to build these connections with people virtually. Every year there is a Funference. We just had our mini Funference here in Charleston, but next year we're heading back to Denver for the fourth year in Denver, 5th year total for me at least. That Funference is being held in Colorado, in Denver, and it's a really cool way to connect with people that you've been talking to virtually for so long. And I know I'm a hugger, so big hugs all around. So I just get so excited for that event.
Funference changed my life. And every single Funference that I attend, this last one was my 3rd one, after every single Funference, I have a significant shift, either in my personal life or in my professional life. The first year that I went to Funference, I literally came home and quit my corporate job, kicked corporate to the curb, and became a mortgage broker. That is the power of showing up in a room of 200 women that are excelling in whatever it is that they do. When you walk into a room like that, it shifts you on the inside because you have to raise your vibration to meet what is in that room. So my very first year that I went to Funference, I was super intimidated, right? I had never seen so many high caliber women in one place at one time. And my mom's an educator, so it's not like I've never had that as a role model before in my life, but to see so many women so successful all in one room, every single woman should experience that at least once in their life. So that's your invitation to come to the next Funference, anybody that's listening.
In October.
And I will say that the next year is when I doubled down and started Frazier Lending Group. And then the year after that, I mean, it just gets better every single year. And so every year I can pinpoint the shifts in my life based on Funference. And I have a new strategy now if you want to hear it.
Yes.
So the first year I had so many notes. I think I was so overwhelmed when I got home. So I implemented a new strategy, and it is a checklist. So we go through Funference and we have all these different educational sessions, and in each session, you know, something's going to be revealed, right? And so I started making a checklist for myself. So I have an actionable item checklist when I get home from Funference that I can actually implement. And it has made all the difference. That's where you put your money where your mouth is, right?
I love a good checklist.
I'm telling you, I'm still working through my checklist from this last one, honestly. I've still got like a couple more things to knock off, but it makes a huge difference. And I can honestly say that I've just seen so many shifts after Funference.
I remember when we did your VIP day for your branding and web, we started with the checklist.
Oh my gosh, we did start with the checklist. Oh, and I still have that original checklist. There's probably still a few things. I want to share one more other thing too about the calendar. And I just made a video about this yesterday. I was racing my calendar for the year and, you know, obviously getting prepared for 2026. And on the side of the calendar, there is like a checklist of all the things that I wanted to accomplish for this year. Many of them came from that checklist that you and I worked on.
Awesome.
And I just have to say that every single one of those things have come true this year.
I'm going to high five you.
Yes, high five on that. That is the power of the Dames, ladies. That is the power of the Dames.
As the Charleston chapter grows and we are looking for 2026 to really build and grow, what are some of the women that we want to invite into Charleston Dames?
Okay, I'm so glad that you asked this question because obviously we're looking for female business owners, right? First and foremost. And
sorry, men.
It's a girls only club. Sorry, guys. Girls only club. Boys stink. No, just kidding. So yeah, we're actually looking for women that run 6, 7, 8 figure businesses. We're also looking for public speakers. We're looking for female business coaches, female mentors. We're looking for female attorneys that own law firms. Let's see. I know that there was a couple that you had mentioned as well, branding and marketing as well.
Branding, marketing, always good to have, but I think really like public speakers, I think you might have said that, AI experts.
Yes.
And really mindset, wellness coaches, health and wellness and beauty space. I don't think we have a lot of beauty or beauty at all.
Oh, great. Yes, I love that. And so one thing I want to say is that our job as VP and president is to recruit for our membership base, right?
Yeah.
So when you join the Dames, that's my commitment to you, is that you tell me what power partnerships look like for you. You tell me who it is that you'd like to see in this room, and we'll go find them. Yeah. We'll get them in the room.
Where do you need help? Where are you struggling in your business? What are the things that you would want to learn from events and people that maybe are great power partners or even clients for you that could be somebody that you can collaborate with? Because that is our biggest thing, is a collaboration. So we want to have women in the group that is covering all the bases so we all can support and lean on each other.
And when you have a vision, you're really passionate about your vision. And when you collaborate about somebody that's really passionate about their vision and you put those two people together, that is a force multiplier and it creates magic. And that's what we're about, folks, creating magic. That's the Dames difference.
Well, Ellen Frazier, thank you so much for being on the Charleston Women podcast and talking about all things Dames.
Thank you so much for having me, Kim. This has been so much fun, and I can't wait to see it air.
Yay! I'm your host, Kim Russo of the Charleston Women podcast, and I'll see you next time.
Thanks for spending time with Charleston Women podcast. Please like us and follow us on whatever platform you're using to access Charleston Women podcast.